was 1951 before Spain's economy began to recover from the Civil War, in which, incidentally, her entire treasury of gold had been shipped off to Moscow and where it has disappeared. In 1951, with American aid, the government, admittedly 25 years late, moved men and mules to harness the few rivers which flow through the country. Only about 40% of Spain's land can be cultivated. Only 1 acre in 12 is under irrigation. If every river is completely harnessed, a project scheduled for 1972, the irrigated land will total about 15%. In addition to irrigation, Spain must bring technology, tractors, and fertilizer to the land. It cannot delay much longer a land redistribution to utilize the latifundia. It should give up entirely the growing of wheat, which yields less in Spain than anywhere else in Europe. In the lush orange-scented land near Valencia lies another village with the pleasant name of Cullera and the pleasant countenance of well-being that comes from peasant citizens who own their land. The latifundias in this region were broken up. This farmer owns about 25 acres, a pleasant house with electricity and running water, and a secure future. His daughter will not go to the fields at sunrise. She will go to school, to church, to the village festivals. When she marries, her father will spend a small fortune for her gown and the wedding party. But unlike other peasants, he won't go in debt for it. A farm worker here makes 3 times the wage of other areas. And in the evening, the villagers will stroll out to their pleasant countryside or admire the prospect of their homes from the hilltop where the church boasts a lighted cross. This is a farm worker who, like many of the men of the village, has managed to purchase a plot of his own. He works on the big farms or in the orange groves during the week, tills his own 5 acres in the evening and on Sundays. His son says he's not going to be a farmer, perhaps a scientist or a doctor. 3 generations. The Spaniard's house, like the Spaniard, turns away from the outside and faces inwardly upon itself. Each Spaniard has his heart and his conscience. Each house has its courtyard. This farmer has farm tools, a motorbike for holidays. His son has a new bicycle and the baby a new stroller. The only entrance to the courtyard is through the house. He'll spend a portion of this Sunday cultivating his own tomato crop while the family goes to Mass. In the afternoon, he may take the family on the motorbike to the countryside, stopping at a cafe for beer, a sandwich, and talk. In the irrigated Valencia area, Spain's vigorous appetite for rice is almost satisfied. This is a healthy agricultural area where farm labor is comparatively well paid, where the big estates have been redistributed, where a peasant has a chance to own some land, where water and technology have been applied to the soil. Spain is totally Roman Catholic. A couple synagogues are tolerated, but otherwise no non-Catholic faith is permitted any sort of public display or ceremony. In the small towns and villages, in the parishes of the poor or the plain, the church is at its best. It is enduring and omnipresent, in sickness and in health, in life's small matters. It is present at birth, and it may have encouraged in some way the Spaniard's insistence that he must die gloriously or with significance. The church is part of life and part of the nation, the streets, the land, the government. Candy for the children at baptism, a parade for confirmation, a fiesta for the wedding, public mourning for the dead, and mass for ceremonies of state. The church ranges from powerful political partner of the government, owner of land and shaper of national policy, to dispenser of solace and humble comforter of the Spanish spirit. Spain's most influential churchman is Enrique Cardinal Pla y Daniel of Toledo. He has sternly criticized the Franco regime, called for liberalization and easing of censorship. Military officers and Falange leaders seek his blessing. Holy Week in Sevilla is the most extravagant spectacle of the Roman Catholic world. Each parish parades through the city streets and plazas its religious float, encrusted with generations of gold and silver leaf and precious stones. The figures are stark and sensual. Penitentes will follow the floats, some in search of forgiveness, some in search of status, or in pursuit of custom. Hired bearers can carry the gold and silver burden only a few feet at a time. A spectator volunteers the wild song of the saeta, rich with the cry of the Moors and the love song to the Virgin. parades and demonstrations choke Sevilla's narrow streets each night of Holy Week, mounting in splendor toward Saturday night Mass in the great cathedral, its altar gleaming with the riches of Spain's one-time golden Americas.
I think that the difference between the United States and Spain is mainly the way we project. The American projects to medium distances, a year, 2 years, a contract, a job, a wedding. We project to extreme distances. We Spaniards project for this afternoon or for our whole life.
The Falla Festival of Valencia is an annual celebration in honor of St. Joseph with only faint religious meaning. All year long, the sections of the city collect money for the construction of papier-mâché statues. Some are socially or politically satirical, but never of domestic Spanish politics. The UN Circus, it's called. Subtitle, The World Band of Troublemakers. Playing the last number. Khrushchev beating the drum with his shoe. Kennedy playing the triangle. Castro the cymbal. And de Gaulle the trombone. On the climactic night of the festival, with characteristic Spanish extravagance, the fires are strung with fireworks and put to the torch. Flames leap from every plaza, and the city shudders to the bombardment. And from the dying ashes trails a wisp of Spain. Tomorrow, they begin collecting centavos and pesetas for bigger fallas next year. Today, the reluctant Spaniard ventures, hesitant and unsure, toward the space and nuclear age of the outside world. But what of his government, of which there is considerable? It fails to explain the Spaniard. Perhaps he explains it. The rule is authoritarian, out of and beyond our comprehension. Paternal, omnipresent, harsh, but only when you cross it. The Spaniard admits to little talent for governing himself. But the sharpest critic of the stultification, the endless bureaus, the permits, the functionaries, the questions and delay, is quick to challenge the visitor's complaint. For criticism is exclusive privilege of his own, not for the stranger. He mistrusts American penchant for idealization, and he guesses that Franco is what Spain has needed. That pointing to his quarter century of peace, he could win any election in any given week. At least the Spaniard says it, over and over, hoping perhaps to convince himself while convincing others. Speaking of Primo de Rivera, an earlier Spanish dictator, Julian Marius again.
Primo de Rivera was a liberal at heart. Many middle-aged liberals miss him a lot now. He did quite a few things, quite a few good things, I mean. But instead of living in time, he made the usual mistake of dictators. He stayed and stayed and stayed.
Among these 30 million handsome, lovely, and generous people, with the sun shining and the laughter quick and easy, all the mutually hostile groups are waiting in the wings, with no chance to talk out their animosity or dissolve in rational debate the dogmatic fangs of old hostilities, all aware of the inexorable actuary table as it applies to Francisco Franco. Monarchists, republicans, syndicalists, and separatists, socialists, phalangists, anarchists, and church. And for Moscow's furtive disciples, a favorable climate of back rooms and dark cellars.